Hi guys, this is Mr. Urrego, and today we're going to review some Algebra 1 skills needed for Algebra 2 and Geometry. Alright, let's do it. We're going to solve simplifying expressions, combining like terms. We're going to use the distributive property and solving one-step equations. Our first topic will be simplifying expressions and combining like terms. Okay, so this is going to be a review of basic skills that we need to understand and make sure that they're clear. When we're simplifying expressions, number one is an expression. There's no equal sign. We're combining like terms at the same time, which means I'm going to combine variables that have the same variable, same exponent. In this case, I have x and x. There's no more x's here, so I combine those two. I do whatever they have in front of it. The number in front of it is called the coefficient. So I have 8x minus 3x. A minus 3 is going to give me 5x. Let's go with the y's. I see that there's two y's, no more y's. So I combine negative 9 plus 10, or 10 minus 9, which is 1. It's going to be positive 1y. If you notice, I put a mark underneath so I know which ones I have used. Then, last but not least, I had the 10 and the negative 4. Those were constants. That's a constant, a number without a variable. So 10 minus 4 is going to give me positive 6, and that's my answer. Let's go number 2. Normally we start with the x's. We go in alphabetical order, and the x is before the y. So 7x plus 3x is 10x. Okay. By the way, if you start with the y's, it doesn't matter. Okay. The order does not matter in this case. And then I'm going to go with the y's. 4y's minus, there's no number there. So there's no number in front of the y. Technically you have a 1, invisible 1, but there's 1y. So 4 minus 1 is 3y, positive. And I use all this. I haven't used this number. That's the only number that I have, nearly constant. Therefore I just bring it down. That's my answer. Okay. Let's simplify. Now I have a parenthesis. This is the distributive property. Because I have a parenthesis and there's a number in front of the parenthesis, this number is going to be distributed, or it's going to be multiplied times every single term on the inside. This parenthesis has two terms. 2x is one term, 4y is the other term. Okay? The terms are separated by pluses or by minuses. Here, in this parenthesis, I have two terms. In number 6, I have 5x, 4x squared, and 1. So I got three terms in there. Okay? So just keep that in mind. They're separated by pluses or by minuses. Okay, so let's go back to the top. So I have, here we go. I have 3 in front of the parentheses. That means I'm going to multiply 3 times 2x, which is 6x. 3 times 2 is 6, and I bring down the x. 3 times positive 4, that's going to be positive 12, and then I'll bring down the y. There's only one y, so I bring it down. This is a 6, by the way. And there's nothing that I can combine because the x and the y, they're not like terms, so that's my answer. Number 4. I have a parenthesis, so the first thing that I need to do is work with this parenthesis. There's a number in front of it. That means I had to distribute. So 7 times 3 is 21x, and it's positive. 7 times 8, both are positive, so that's going to give me a positive. 7 times 8 is 56. And then I solve, that's my distributive property. I'll bring down the 4x. Now, once I solve my parentheses, when I distribute, I check if there's common factors. Like terms. Like terms. X, I go by the leading coefficient, which is 4 and 21. The coefficients is the numbers in front of the variable. Okay, the 4 is a coefficient, the 21 is a coefficient. 4 plus 21 is 25. When I'm combining like terms, I keep the same variable. X does not change. It's like when let's pretend that I have 4 apples plus 21 apples. That's going to give me 25 apples. When you're adding or subtracting, the variable does not change. I use my x. Now let's bring the 56. That's my final answer. Okay, what about now? I have a 2 in front of a parenthesis that has 3 terms. Doesn't matter how many terms you have on the inside, this will be distributed times every single one of them. The 2 will always multiply the coefficient, which is the number in front of the variable. So 2 times 5 is 10x squared. 2 times 5x, 2 times 5 is 10x. 2 times negative 6, 2 times positive times negative, it gives me negative. 2 times 6 is 12. Now, after I multiply, can I combine like terms? No. Even though I have an x and an x here, they have different exponents. Here I have a 2, and because there's no exponent here, you're supposed to have a 1. Exponent, if there's no exponent, you have a 1. So this is x to the second power, this is x. Like terms is when they have the same variable, same exponent. So right now, this should be my answer because the exponents are different. Alright, let's go on number 6. Again, I have a number in front of it, so I should distribute. So 7 times 5 is going to give me 35. Bring down the x. 7 times negative 4 is 7 times negative 4 is negative 28. Remember, positive times negative is negative, and 7 times 4 is 28. Bring down x squared. 7 times negative 1, positive times negative is negative, and 7 times 1 is 7. And I stop there because that's where my parenthesis closes. Alright, that's it. I don't keep going. Now I have minus 3x that is multiplying in parentheses. So I'm going to take 3x and multiply times every single one of them. Negative 3 times positive 9, because the 9 does not have a sign, it means it's positive. Negative 3 times 9 is negative 27. There's only one x, I'll bring down the x. Negative 3, negative 3x times negative 2x. Negative 3 times negative 2, negative gives me positive. 3 times 2, 6. X times x, x squared. Okay, and let me make a little parenthesis here. X times x, why did I get x squared? Because remember, if my variable does not have an exponent, technically it has a 1. Technically it has a 1. When I multiply powers, variables with the same variable, I keep the variable and add the exponents. Again, let's pretend that I have x cubed times x to the second power. Same variable, I keep the variable, I add the exponents. And that's how I multiply those powers. Y to the 5th times y to the 7th. Same variable, I can multiply because it's the same variable, I keep the variable, and I add my exponents. Alright, a quick parenthesis right there. Okay, let's go back to our problem. I distribute those. Now I need to check if I can combine like terms. Like terms, same variable, same exponent. X squared, those are like terms. And I have a negative 28 and I have a 6. Negative 28 plus 6 is going to give me negative 22. And I keep the same variables in exponents, so that's going to give me negative 22x squared. Next, I have x here, x there. Technically it's x to the first, x to the first. It's the same variable. I have 35 minus 27. 35x minus 27x is positive 8x. Keep the variable with the same exponent. If you notice, I marked this down, and the only one that is not marked is the negative 7, which is my constant. I bring it down. These are not like terms because they have different exponent. Therefore, this is my final answer for number 6. Alright. Now, let's solve one-step equations. Alright, these are one-step equations. The steps here are the following. You need to identify what's going on between the number and the x. Because there's no signs between the 9 and the x, that means they're multiplying. The opposite of multiplication is division. So I divide by the same number that is with the x. So 9 divided by 9, it will cancel out. My x comes down. 18 divided by 9 is 2. So remember, If this is multiplying, then you divide, and whatever you do one side, you do in the other side. The same thing. Number 8. Again, I don't see any number in front of the x, so you need to put a 1 right there. So this is a negative 1x. Okay, negative 1x. I need to cancel negative 1x. Negative 1x. There's no signs in between the negative 1 and the x. That means that's multiplying. How can I cancel something that is multiplying? You divide on both sides. The same thing. Negative divided by negative becomes positive. So this 2 cancels out and I bring down the x. Negative 1 divided by negative 1 technically is 1. They cancel out, but it gives you 1. It's like 9 divided by 9 gives you 1. You don't have to write the 1. In the other side, 6 divided by negative 1, positive divided by negative is negative. 6 divided by 1 is 6. Do I need to write the 1? No. So x equals to negative 6. Here, what's going on? What's happening between the 3 and the x? The 3 is on the denominator. That means this is dividing. The opposite of division is multiplying. So that means I gotta multiply the x times 3. If I do it on one side, I do it on the other side. Okay, the 3 on the top and the 3 on the bottom, 3 divided by 3 is 1. It will cancel out. Bring down the x, and my other side is 10 times 3, which is 30. So every time you're solving in one-step equations, the whole idea is to do the opposite operation. If there's no signs, means they're multiplying, you divide. If it's dividing, you multiply both sides. What about number 10? X minus 4. Remember, I want to leave the x by itself. You always do whatever's next to the x. In this case, I have x minus 4. Subtracting. Opposite of subtraction, addition. And I want to cancel the 4 because it's next to the x. Add 4, add 4. Look at the equal sign. Okay, look at the equal sign. You always look at the equal sign. You're doing both sides. Look at the equal sign, both sides. Plus 4 plus 4. Negative 4 plus 4 or 4 minus 4 gives me 0. It cancels. Bring down the x. 8 plus 4, 12. Here is now adding x plus 3. How can I cancel the plus 3? Remember, I got to cancel whatever's next to the x. Plus 3, opposite is subtraction. Whatever I do on one side, I do in the other side. 3 minus 3, 0. Bring down the x. 9 minus 3, 6. Alright, what about now? I have 2 over 5x. So I have a fraction. I have 2/5. I can write this as well like that. I have a fraction. Okay, so the easiest way to cancel a fraction that is multiplying. Look, there's nothing here, so technically they're multiplying. The easiest way to cancel a fraction that is multiplying your x is doing something that is called the reciprocal. Reciprocal is just flipping this fraction. 2 over 5, I flip. The 5 goes on the top, the 2 goes on the bottom. I multiply on one side, I multiply on the other side. Remember. Okay, how come? Why is this happening? Because if I multiply fractions, how do you multiply fractions? Is the number on the top with the number on the top, which is 5 times 2 is 10. 2 times 5 is 10. 10 divided by 10 is 1. So when I do the reciprocal, the fractions are going to cancel out. And the other side, I just multiply. Top with top. 10 times 5 is 50. 1 times 2 is 2. 50 divided by 2 is 25. Reciprocal, that's what the name is. Let's do the last one. Reciprocal here. I flip the whole thing. The 2 goes on the top, the negative 3 goes on the bottom. 2 goes on the top, negative 3 goes on the bottom. Now I know that this is going to cancel this, so I have x. The other side is top with top, bottom with bottom. 8 times 2 is 16, and on the bottom is negative 3. I cannot simplify, so that's my answer. Okay? Alright guys, quick review. Please smash that button, like one of my students said. Subscribe to the channel, please. Like the videos. I'll see you next one.